All right, welcome to the Run.down. I'm Jeff, aka Frank Barrett 119. No Sam this week, unfortunately. He's the best host possible. Does a way better job, but I'm going to give it my best here. I'm joined by Tyrese, aka London's Theory. Um, I don't even know how long an intro I'm supposed to do. I'm just so completely mind fucked that I don't know. I'm just gonna hand it over to you and just what do you have to say about that game? Oh
That's
my
what I have to
goodness.
say about that.
I'm so impressed that you actually got a bag for the gimmick. It's if I wasn't so heartbroken, it would be God.
Oh man,
It's so crazy because like this is a season where everybody knows that you're not going to win a championship, and it's December. And then if somebody told you that RJ and Brunson would be out, like if somebody told you before this game that RJ and Brunson were going to be out and Luka would put up 60, 21, and 10, we would just be like, okay, we lost. Like, let's move on. Like, who cares? Only the Knicks can do this. I don't understand how it's possible to feel this way given the circumstances. It was just, and like we'll go through the box score and we'll talk about what was good and what was bad, but like so much the parlay of things that had to happen to even have a chance to lose the game. Like Christian Wood hits a rainbow three with 40 seconds left, down 9. If that doesn't go in, they give up. That's the end of the game right there. But it goes in. Okay, we're up 6. Quinn Grimes gets the ball. Gets tied up, and they call a jump ball in half a second when they don't even get their hands on the ball. Okay. Then Luka gets an offensive rebound on a missed 3. We get that rebound, game over. Nope, Luka gets an offensive rebound, puts a shot up, gets bumped. Clear foul, obviously. No complaints about the foul. Doesn't have to go in. If it doesn't go in, okay, we're up 4. But no, it goes in and the foul. All of a sudden, it's 3. Deuce misses a free throw. If he just hits both, we're up 5. Nope. Okay, he misses 1. We're only up 4. Like all of these events in succession over and over again. It's just like there can't be other fan bases that just have to go through this shit relentlessly.
It's just like it took everything, and they still could have won the game if they secure the rebound. And I know the talking point is like bring in Simmons, but at the same time, like the rebound was in Grimes' hands and Deuce's hands, and it slipped out. And like, sure, could he have made that adjustment? But like, if it's in their hands, you expect them to secure the rebound, or at the very secure the rebound. That's it. All you need to do is secure the rebound. We're talking about a great win where the Knicks put up the Knicks score, and they, Grimes has a career game, and Randall has a really solid game as well. And it's just like we're not having this conversation. That's where the game comes down to. It's a bunch of a perfect storm of bullshit events to happen, and then the Knicks can still win the game, and they end up fumbling a rebound. Luka gets the luckiest putback of all time, where it just jumps into his hands, and then he just throws it up at the game clock's expiring, and there's your game. And in the overtime, they were clearly gassed. The only thing I can realistically and I see a lot of people blaming Tibbs tonight, which again I don't really get, and I'm not a Tibbs defender, but Tom Thibodeau isn't the reason why they can't perform at the line, or they Miles McBride and Emmanuel quickly go 2 for 19 on threes, or just the late game gaps and execution. You can't be in there physically grabbing a rebound. I would have liked to see though more guys play tonight. There's no way your pivot is 12 minutes of Derrick Rose and 11 minutes of Isaiah Hartenstein, along with 46 minutes of Deuce McBride, when you are missing 3 rotation players. I don't get that. You're telling me that Evan Fournier or Svi Mykhailiuk couldn't give you 15 tonight, just as a way to break up that minute distribution?
And by the way, this is the second straight season where the Knicks have been unable to play someone because Tibbs has basically just said you're out of the rotation. I can't say that I watch every game of every other team, but I would be very surprised if other teams have guys on their roster that their head coach just refuses to play from like for like chemistry reasons, or like Fournier and Reddish's trade values aren't going up or down based on, you know, a 6-minute shift. So, and let's be real, like, yeah, Tibbs doesn't deserve any blame. We had a rebound in Grimes and Deuce's hands, and they just fumbled it together, and it went perfectly into Luka's hands, who, yeah, we should have won this game. But the minutes we lost were the Hartenstein at power forward minutes. He was minus 11 in 12 minutes. Like, we absolutely dominated this game in the non-Hartenstein minutes. The Knicks did. And you can't just keep sending those guys out there together. Like, you can't just keep not playing Cam Reddish. I don't care that he's not your ideal player. I don't care that he had a bad game against, what was the last game he played? I guess it was the last time we played Dallas, right? That was the end of the rotation. I don't care that he had a bad shift against Dallas 3 weeks ago. Your job is to give your team the best chance going forward. And we've seen enough that this Hartenstein-Sims thing, I don't care what the small sample size net rating is. There's no sustainability to it. Other teams have figured it out. They're not even guarding either one of them. And the guys who play with them don't have a chance at all. And so, to your point, if you were going to complain about one thing about Tibbs in this game, it's the fact that because of his rules, it seems, because of the way he views chemistry and the way he views basketball, Fournier and Cam were not allowed to play tonight and aren't allowed to play. Like, that's just it for them. He's decided they're done. Like, he decided Kemba was done. Like, he decided Elfrid Payton was done 2 years ago correctly, way too late. But even if I agree with the decision, the fact that Elfrid Payton went from starting game 1 of the playoffs to not playing a single minute, and
game 4,
it shows a flaw in the system. And that's really all I have to say about Tibbs tonight, because it wasn't his fault. He doesn't deserve – nobody deserves blame. That was a stupid game. That's the thing. Like, we can talk – Deuce and quickly make one more three, we win. Yeah, sure. Grimes calls timeout or grabs that rebound, we win. Randall maybe has one less bad possession down the stretch of the fourth quarter, we win. Sure, none of these guys were perfect, but they all played over 40 minutes. They were all exhausted. They were all taxed, and we had that game in our hands. So people watching, like, they might be annoyed by that. They might want somebody's head, but this was a stupid loss, and I don't think anybody's to blame. It was just the gods were on the Mavericks side tonight. That's my takeaway. Yeah,
like, you get Luka. Sometimes you just get Luka. There's no analysis to have. But I don't have anything to say other than, like, you get Luka.
Yeah, he was really good. He's a really good basketball player. That's just that's the laziest possible analysis, but
like the best
he's a really good basketball player.
Yeah, the best basketball player in the league just kind of said, I'm not losing the game, and that's what happened. And, like, you can't do anything about that sometimes. Even when everything's perfect, sometimes a little bullshit goes, like, they call it Luka magic for a reason, dude. So.
But at the same time, like, I don't know. I feel like the people who come and watch the show they're looking for like rational. They're looking for a rational take. And what you're saying is exactly right, and it's perfectly rational. But if we're speaking just purely objectively, he put up 60, 21, and 10, and the Knicks still should have won this game. On some level, that says good things about the Knicks. Like, I know we can't keep having these moral victories, but he put up 60, 21, and 10, and McBride and Quickly were 2 for 19 from 3, and it took a miracle for them to beat the Knicks. Like that, there's a win in there somewhere, even if it doesn't show up in the standings.
Like the thing is, like, you know, the Knicks have been able to assemble a team where like they'll give you effort. You can't complain about the effort tonight. You can't complain about like how hard they played, and you need to play 48 hard minutes against them, but that's fantastic. And it takes like Herculean efforts to beat the Knicks. We saw it with Pascal against on earlier in the week. That Rosen had to hit a late game free throw or a late game mid range jumper. Now Luka has to drop 60 points, and they're still losing by like single digits.
Yep.
And that's what it's taking to beat this team. How even the Sixers game where like it literally takes them like going so cold in the second half that like, and James Harden just being able to like pick apart their defense.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Like they're 4 losses and they suck, but at the same time, like look at the conditions that needed to happen for that team to lose. Like Pascal has to drop 52 and like have it. I think it was like a near 52-point triple double or something like that. It was something insane.
Yep.
And like they lose.
He had 52. He had 52, 9, and 7.
And what happened was the game was tied, and Julius had to smoke a layup.
Yep.
Like the game was tied until Julius smokes the layup, and then you look at the Friday game, and they lose the Friday game, and everybody's really upset about that. But again, Jalen Brunson misses 2 free throws. I think Grimes also misses 2 free throws, and then down the stretch, what happens is fucking DeMar DeRozan hits a pull-up jumper and 1, and then they win by 1 point.
What's the deal, by the way, with all these teams? Like, why was this game so important to the Mavericks? Why did they just go all in? I don't like whatever, like cool for you guys. You really wanted this one, but like if you look at Luka's game logs, he's not playing crazy minutes across the board. He's playing, I guess he played a ton of minutes at Houston, but like he's playing mid-30s minutes, high 20s minutes every game. And then tonight we don't have Brunson, we don't have RJ, and they're just like, okay, all in. Like, we need this one. I don't. And the Raptors did the same thing. That Siakam and Van Vliet played the whole game basically. It's like
maybe it's a Knicks bias. I don't know, but like,
right? Like it just feels it just sometimes feels like the stars just have to align to make sure we don't win. It's crazy.
I really don't have much worse to say because it's just like it's crazy how teams play us, but at the same time, like that comes with the territory of being a Knick. But
yeah, I mean, we can.
I also think that this might have been like a Jalen Brunson shot, even if he wasn't on the court.
Dude,
like
I'm sorry, I can't do that. Like,
I don't know. Like I feel like it's a bit of a Jalen Brunson shot. Because he was talking, like I think Jalen Brunson was saying something to him on the bench, and then like Luka came out and he just gave him.
Oh, okay, no, I misunderstood. I apologize. I thought you were saying that we lost the game because Brunson wasn't playing.
No. I'm saying like I feel like he's just kind of like, oh well, you know, this you could have been playing with me or whatever. Like I think he took the game personally. He absolutely took the game personally.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but I think a lot of teams take the game personally against the Knicks.
Let's just, before we get to the comments, and we'll get to them soon, let's just go through the box score. I mean, Randall was really good. You can't even judge Randall's game because it was all on him. Aside from Quickly, there was no one on the team trying to create. Grimes did a great job attacking closeouts, but like he wasn't initiating offense. It was Quickly and Randall. And so there's no like process to break down for Randall. There's
like
everything he did was justified. Like you the only thing you can say is that if you watch the first 42 minutes of this game, it was some of the best prolonged ball movement we had all season. Like the ball was flying around. I watched these games. I watched this game with my dad, and there was a number of possessions when he was like, this Mavericks defense is flying around and we're just making every quick rotation pass. Like it doesn't move. The ball does not move that way when RJ and Brunson are on the court as much. It just doesn't because, they're stickier players. We were moving the ball phenomenally. I'd be absolutely shocked if we didn't win this game from a shot quality standpoint by at least 10 points because we were getting an open look whenever we want and the shots weren't falling. And still, despite that, we were up 9 with 40 seconds left. So it's like, there's not, my point is that it was good, and then we did the thing where 5 minutes left. Okay, it's Randall's time, and I don't know if that's on Randall or if it's on Tibbs. I don't have it in me.
You can't blame him tonight because they had no other
right.
It was Grimes, but even still, Grimes started to slow down a bit because his second year, he's fresh off an injury that happened last week, so he's still trying to get his legs underneath him, and he has to take those shots because nobody else is going to take those shots. Quickly isn't hitting them. McBride isn't hitting them. You saw him actively trying to kick out to McBride or Quickly, and they were just tossing it back to him because they don't want to take the shot.
Yeah, no, that's what I was eventually going to get to is even if you wanted to critique the process of the last 5 minutes, it's there was no Brunson, there was no RJ. It had to be Randall. He's the only one who could have created an advantage. So okay. Yeah. Mitch was absolutely dominant on both ends, as he's been all season long. 20 points on 9 shots. Okay, he had to have his free throws. I can't think of anything that really bothered me about Mitch tonight. Maybe he gave up a really weak and one to Luka, where it was dude, either foul him or don't foul him, but don't do what you did.
Yeah, but that's cherry picking. He played a fantastic game tonight. He wasn't the problem, and you can talk about the free throws, but Mitch misses free throws.
Yeah, this is the gist of my point is. Quickly was 5 for 21. I think that's one of the best 5 for 21 games I've ever seen. He was excellent defensively as he always is. He was 15 assists and 1 turnover is Chris Paul stuff. Nobody does that. And you've got this guy that everyone is convinced isn't a point guard who comes in and he can distribute and set up threes and layups and he doesn't turn it over ever. His 1 turnover wasn't even a double dribble.
That was a bull turnover too.
They robbed him of a 15 assist 0 turnover game. Grimes was great. McBride was fine. Knocked you down your shots. But McBride, when they kept trying to switch Luka onto him, he did fine. He held his own. There's only so much you can do against Luka. Okay, we're going to get to comments. Point being, it just should have been a win. This is so frustrating.
Yeah, the thing is, even with the Hartenstein minutes, he pivoted. He did not play. I don't think he played Hartenstein in the second half.
Yeah.
Or if he did play Hartenstein, it was 5 minutes in the second half, and they were -6. But he pivoted correctly and didn't play Hartenstein. Maybe you would have liked to see more Jericho. I think he saw a bit more Jericho Sims in those minutes as well. But I don't when they lost the minutes, they lost it because of Grimes and Quickly because they were -10. But you're not going to say that obviously. So
wait,
you're not going to
say that. Say that again.
Quickly and Grimes had the -10, which is the lowest plus minus of everybody in the team. But you're not going to say that obviously because
Quickly was even.
No, I'm saying in the fourth quarter.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah. Well, yeah, but wasn't? Did they wait a little bit to put Randall back in? Is that why he's not as low?
Yeah, they waited 2 minutes and Quickly and Grimes put the entire second fourth quarter.
Yeah. All right.
And also Quickly played the entire second quarter. And most of the first quarter, and most of the third quarter, and all of overtime. So Quickly played 15 minutes tonight. So if it takes the entire starting five essentially playing 40 plus minutes, and it takes the luckiest comeback where Luka literally has to get the ball under 2 people's hands, throw up a Hail Mary shot, it banks in, mind you, banks in, and then overtime happens. That is the events that need to happen in order to make that work. I can't get too mad at this because it's just that doesn't happen.
I'll say we're giving the players a lot of credit. I will say one thing. That sequence when Hartenstein missed the 2-foot floater.
Yeah.
And then turned it over and then played the worst drop defense you'll ever see, and a guy walked into a three, was almost as mad as I was all night. Like, he was horrible. Him at power forward minutes need to stop. Okay, promise we're getting to comments now. First comment comes from Chris. Like, I feel bad because all the comments are like what we're saying, like, this bullshit that we lost. The video of the ref slowing, Chris Bernard, thanks for the comment, man. He says the video of the ref slowing down his 5 count when Luka is inbounding is hilarious. He has a normal cadence, then all of a sudden brings his arm all the way up to his shoulder. Yeah, that seemed like a 5-second call to me, Chris. I agree.
Man, I think it was, but at the same time, like, it was so close, and they never call that. Like, they never call 5 seconds. So,
yeah, you're right. All right. I read one comment. We gotta take a break because we gotta get to everyone's favorite part, the ad read.
Woo!
The NBA season is heating up, and there are still so many unknown. When I'm looking to get in on the action, I bet with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Check this out right now. Everyone can earn up to 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, place a same-game parlay, and combine multiple bets like which team will win, total rebounds, and more. Or if you're like me, you'll bet a same-game parlay with RJ overs and watch him get hurt 1 minute into the game. What a great advertisement for betting. Please bet more. The more legs you add, the bigger the boost, the bigger your shot to win big or lose. Download the app now, sign up with code TBPN, place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code TBPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Fun stuff. Okay, let's get back to the comments. Yeah, I bet Knicks money line and I bet a same game parlay with RJ overs, and don't be like me, kids. Knicks fans have no shame. Gonna need an explanation on that one, 24 seconds, because I feel like if there was ever a night to kind of be pretty devastated, it would be tonight. So not really sure what you mean. This is kind of what Tyrese was just talking about. Shout out to Tibbs for running guys into the ground. Not like we have guys like Cam and Fournier with fresh legs to buy guys some minutes. Absolutely. Tyrese, you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, like, I would have just liked to see him, like, somebody give somebody a breather. Like, if you have situational guys, when you're missing 3 rotation players, this would be the moment to be situational. So, like, hell, Svi isn't getting traded. Like, why didn't you just play Svi?
Yep.
Like, you could have did something with Svi. Hell, you would have given Ryan Archie Diacono minutes. I don't know. Like, of course, these aren't the best minutes, but at the same time, like, somebody needs to give somebody a breather. So,
and this is like,
also,
he just played quickly 51 minutes. Brunson's going to play Thursday against the Spurs, and Quickly's going to play 20 minutes again.
Yeah, like, he basically gave Quickly's minutes for the week, and that's it. So, also, fun fact, NBA teams were 0 and 13,808 and 84 in the last 20 seasons when trailing by at least 9 with 35 or fewer seconds remaining per ESPN stats info. Luka Doncic and the Mavs pulled off a miracle. Again, that shows you how fucking bullshit this game was.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard to view it like that, but like
this is like,
all the advanced like analytics, they're gonna think higher of the Knicks after this game. Every single thing that's viewing this team objectively, unless you truly believe in stuff like like intangible stuff that like you think this is going to have a carryover effect, which I'm not saying I don't believe in it. It'll be very interesting to see how they come out Thursday. But if you believe in these players being mentally tough enough to get over this and move on, in a weird way, we should think higher about this team because like, you know, again, like I'm not going to go through the guys, but like everyone said, you know, Quickly couldn't do it against starters. Okay, yeah, he was 5 for 21, but he was 5 for 21 on shots that we all want him taking. He didn't force like more than 2 or 3 shots all night. He had 15 assists and 1 turnover and played excellent defense. He can do this against anyone, and if those shots fall, this is just a blowout. Deuce is a role player for any team. Again, the shots need to fall, and I hope they do someday. But
the thing is, though, like if Deuce isn't hitting shots, is he really a role player for any team? That's
he's just so good at defense.
He's so good at defense, but at the same time, like, so is Frank Ntilikina, and he is bouncing around the league on minimums. Like,
yeah, bouncing around the league. The Mavs seem to like him. Like,
oh yeah, but like he might be ending up in Europe next year. But like,
yeah.
Point being, like he needs to be able to hit shots.
Yeah.
Like, and he hasn't been able. He's been able to hit his twos. I'll give him that. He's hitting his twos, which is really nice. But he needs to be able to hit threes on a consistent basis. And the defense is nice, but if the defense is the only thing that you bring, like you're nothing more than like maybe a 10-minute a night guy, maybe you could stretch yourself onto a Gary Payton role, but like Gary Payton is like a generational defender, which is in his genes. So like it like I'm high on Deuce. I think he's a really good player, but like at some point somebody's gonna need to score in this team. And I think that just speaks to how the team has been built in general. Like, I think the starting 5 is a really solid unit. I think it's a really positive unit. I'm happy with that. The bench is weaker, obviously, because they traded Burks. Like, Burks would be the perfect player to slot back into this rotation right now. And, like, he's killing it at Detroit right now. He's, like, 60 true shooting. He's hitting his twos. It's dumb. But, never change. But, like, I think they need another guy. They need to go back to a 10-man rotation at some point. And
but they only need to go back to a 10-man rotation because Tibbs doesn't know how to stagger. This wouldn't be an issue if Tibbs wasn't like, let's play Brunson, RJ, and Randall all the whole first quarter.
I know, but at the same time, like I think you just need somebody else who can score. Like you need that 7th man who can score, and I think they're missing that badly. Because the bench unit, even when Obi comes back, do you really trust that bench unit to score? I don't know. I don't think that's good. I don't think it's good of a unit that's scoring.
I mean, if the bench unit was like
okay, if we're saying like the bench players plus one of the starters, ideally.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying if it's IQ, Deuce, Obi, and Sims, and then one of RJ or Grimes, I think they'll score enough. Yeah, I do.
I don't know. Because like I think IQ is inconsistent. I think RJ is inconsistent if you're planning to play him with the bench unit. I think Deuce like Deuce needs to find his offense, but he also needs to find it in the context of catch and shoot because we all know he can do stuff off pull-ups. But like, I think one thing like you saw him like hit like he dribbled out of a 3 into a pull-up 2 and it went in.
He definitely lost his confidence as a spacer as the night went on. He wasn't even looking for it towards the end. It was, and honestly, like,
did he ever have it? I don't think he ever had it.
No, he was firing early, and he hit one that was big. I mean, he hit one. We went 1 for 9. So I don't know. I'll say this. I would be willing to bet that if we could isolate through the end of the season, that both 5-man rotations of quickly Deuce, RJ, Obi, and one of the centers, or that same thing but with Grimes instead of RJ, they'll win their minutes. And that's enough, in my opinion.
I mean, I think they probably will swing a trade for somebody. Like, you just need another guy who can like reliably give you 10. Like, that's really it.
Like, why doesn't Cam just play?
I mean, the thing with Cam is like I think he's okay, but at the same time, like I don't think like I'm okay with them playing Cam, but if they also don't play Cam, then I'm like, you might as well move him for something. And like from every indication, it seems that they want to move him for something similar to a Joe Ingles type, where they can shoot the ball really well and also like make the right reads and like high field and stuff like that. I don't know where they're gonna get that from. Like maybe they get like an Amir Coffey or somebody like that, or like maybe an Austin. I wouldn't even hate that. Honestly, I would not hate that. But like,
I'm just saying, like, what is Amir Coffey? There's a million of. I'm not even saying he's like that. I'm just saying there's like a million of those guys. And I was like, we could get that. We don't have to give up anything for Amir Coffey.
I don't think you have to give up anything either. But like, I mean, if Cam's not gonna be the team, you might as well just like make his contract into Amir Coffey. I don't know, but like, Austin, I want Austin Reeves. That's been my.
He's there. How are we gonna get Reeves though?
I
if
don't
the Lakers
know.
give up Reeves after giving up Caruso, like there's no way they can't understand these really good connectors. They can't just keep giving them away. They can't keep getting away with it.
I mean, but still. Anyway,
yeah. Vivek popped in with I don't blame the players collectively for this loss. I think the cumulative effect of Tibbs' coaching with extremely tightened rotations played a role in this loss and the last 4 losses. You go first, Tyrese. I have a pretty long answer, I think. So,
like, man, I'm sorry. That's just way too. That is way too like. Oh, like it's too coincidental to me. Like, yes, the minutes are a problem, but like at the same time, they were winning with these minutes beforehand, and nobody complained. And now it comes down to really, really bad late game execution, which again takes 2 Herculean efforts, a last-second jump shot, and like the offense dying in the 4th quarter. Like, you cannot look at this and go, yeah, this is a Tibbs loss, dude. Like,
yeah,
it's execution. It's execution.
The only thing I could say in support of Vivek's point is Tibbs has never, ever been a coach ready with a plan B. He has a plan A, and he's going to spam that over and over again. Like, he finds a lineup he likes, and he's going to ride that lineup into the ground. And we saw it tonight. I mean, quickly, tonight's starting 5, before RJ got hurt, I think you would agree, Tyrese, was 5 of the Knicks' 6 best players, right?
What'd you say? Starting 5?
The starting 5 tonight was 5 of the Knicks' 6 best players with Brunson out.
Yes.
So if you exclude Brunson, it was the Knicks' 5 best players. You would agree with that, right?
Yes.
Coming into this game, they had played 0 minutes together. 0. That's not coaching. There's no other team in the league. You cannot find me another team in the league that unless it's 2 centers, but if you have a lineup that fits together well, 5 of your 6 best players that has played 0 minutes, there's no chance another team in the league has that. These guys had to learn to play together on the fly, and they did. And that's the point you were making, which is why I can't even get on board with blaming Tibbs, because even as stupid as that is, that's more of a long-term problem. That's my overall problem with Tibbs and why I don't think he should be the coach of this team. But for this game, the micro of this game, can't say Tibbs cost us this game at all. Like, we had it. We had the game. Catch a freaking rebound. Have Christian Wood's 3 that almost hit the freaking ceiling just rattle around the rim like 11 of IQ's 3s did instead of just splashing home. Like, they were 99% to win this game at like 7 different points, and they didn't win. You can't
like
blame.
They're up 9 with 27 seconds left. Like, you cannot. That's not coaching. You cannot coach your way out of that box. You can't coach your way out of that box. There is no coach in the planet who can literally somehow save that game. No coach. And you can tell me about how Sims should have been on the court for the offensive rebound. I'm not saying it's wrong, but at the same time, if it's in 2 guys' hands and they both grab it and it drops, and then somehow Luka Doncic picks it up, like, That's not coaching.
Yep. You said it. Carlo Hendricks, apologies if I mispronounced your name. When so many of your players are out, you have to be flexible with minute distributions. Playing Cam would have gave us a better chance. Is there any other coach in the NBA that would have left Cam out? Yeah, I would have played Cam. I would have. The thing is that I'm going to try and give a new spin to this because it's a problem that's been happening recently, and it really bothers me. Good coaches have short shifts, lots of short shifts. I watched the Cavs Nets the other game. Darius Garland started the game and played 2 different first quarter shifts. He came out, like 5 minutes into the game and then came back in with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. And that's like his normal rotation. The only way you get stuck with this is if you just play the guys you like for huge stretches of the game, and then you have these situational players that you'll toss in for a minute or two and you'll sprinkle them in, and then you just go back to the guys you're leaning on. That's not rotating. That's not coaching. That's just, okay, I've got the guys I like. We're just going to ride them. And it's not sustainable because, 1, they're more likely to get hurt. And 2, as I just said 5 minutes ago, you're left without a plan B. So if somebody throws a first punch at you, you're done. Like, you just are not prepared with any backup plan. And one of the things I really loved that Tibbs was doing early in the season is he was pulling Brunson with Mitch around the 5 or 6 minute mark. And he would let Randall finish the quarter by himself because, Tyrese, you're Randall's biggest fan, and you're probably higher on how Randall's played this season than I have. But I think you can agree that as well as you may think Randall's adapted, he needs those minutes on the court when he's the guy. He needs that to get into a rhythm, right?
Yes. Well, and that's why he was in rhythm in the first half, because
Exactly.
He was the undisputed guy. Like, in the first quarter, he dropped 10, and he would have had more if he didn't have 3 fouls and had to come out. And you've been seeing it where, he's getting into 15-point first quarters because he literally has, a stretch in the game where, he just gets to shoot the ball and shoot the shit out of the ball. And nobody's going to stop him. And there's defense around him, which means that he has to worry about defense as much, and he can just make the help side rotation and get the steal and then run back up the court, do the OB, and then, get the ball. That's why he's basically in the best stretch of his career scoring-wise. He's had damn near 4 straight 20-point games. So, not to mention 3 games in a row with 4+ made threes. So, he needs that. I think all of them need that at some point. Maybe Brunson less so. But, I think RJ needs a stretch where he just gets to be the guy. I think Randall needs a stretch where he just gets to be the guy. And I think Brunson's scalable enough to where it doesn't matter, and he could just be the guy with those guys. So
yeah. And so what Tibbs has been doing recently of just playing all 3 of RJ, Brunson, and Randall the first 9 minutes at least of every quarter, of the first and third quarter, it's hurting. It's making our team less versatile, and it's not capitalizing on all the different skill sets we have. And what Callow is saying, it goes to that. He needs to do a better job of shortening up the shifts and maximizing the total units that play together. We will be a better team when he starts upping the minute distributions for everybody. And so I think that's a really good comment. And I think going forward, we really have to start doing that. We just can't keep having games that the last few looked like where all of Brunson, Grimes, Randall, and RJ are playing 38+ minutes. It's unsustainable.
I don't think Brunson's been doing that, though. I think, weirdly enough, he's been really solid with Brunson's minutes. He's capped Brunson at 35, unless the situation calls for it. Yeah, I think you look at Brunson's minute distribution has been pretty solid, which is the funny thing.
The last 3 games he's played 39, 38, and 35.
Yeah, like
So
Toronto. Yeah, I think. Yeah, but like beforehand, 30.
and remember the 35 against Philly, he got hurt.
Yes.
So he was on his way to 39. This is a very recent problem. He was on his way to 39 again. And it's because he's playing he's trusting Deuce less and he's playing longer in his first shift.
Which like I can understand trusting Deuce less because the lack of offensive production. So like,
man, but it's a chicken egg thing. Like we went on an 8-game winning streak with Deuce playing, 20 to 25 minutes a game, like 15 to 25 minutes a game. And then it's like Tibbs was like, "Oh, this bought me goodwill. I'm going to go back to what I know."
I know, like it's column A, column B, but at the same time, like I can't get mad at him because like if Deuce is just going to be tentative to shoot and then not give me anything offensively while the defense is great, but like I need scoring, and this team desperately needs scoring, so.
But again, to me it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy because if Deuce has noticed he's starting to come out earlier, he's gonna be more hesitant because it's like one missed shot and he's out.
Yeah, I just.
And this isn't about Deuce, by the way. Like even like me and you may slightly disagree about Deuce's value, but like he's a 10th man, a 9th, 10th man. So like, yeah, I like him a lot and I want to see him improve. And I think he should play a couple more minutes. But it's about the general strategy with his rotating.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Where it's just like, in general, the rotations just need to be more fluid, but that's never going to happen in Tibbs. So I haven't given up hope for that.
All right. Samuel says, I hate blaming the refs, but man, they really know how to fuck with us in these games at the right moments. The missed 5-second count on Luka and the fake ass tie up. Yeah, the tie up, I don't think there's any arguing that. That ref was way too excited to call a jump ball. They didn't even have hands on the ball. That was ridiculous. I mean, it didn't matter at the time, but I just didn't think it was gonna. I didn't think it was gonna matter. I can't believe Grimes even lost the jump ball.
It was just that was a weird jump ball. Like he just put his hand in it immediately, and then it was a jump ball. Like what? Like you at least let that play develop. So I don't know.
Hawkeye 420 said, I'm reminded of that scene in The Office where Stanley is yelling at Michael every day. Every day you say something stupider than the day before. It is crazy. Like, it's like the Knicks couldn't top, like, the Raptors game they had, and then, like, the Raptors game was almost completely out of their control. They had that lame call on Brunson, and then the Bulls game was a little bit more in their control, and they'd lose it. And then this game was just absolutely in their hands. And I don't know. I mean, me and Sam are very much on the same page here. Like, this was a game they should have won. And if you're able to find it in you to be just 100% rational, in a weird way, we should come out of this feeling positive about our guys because there's just so many things that are like, if that didn't happen, the Knicks would have won. And it's just that parlay of things, or as Sam said, that confluence of events, it's never going to happen in another game. It just, well, I shouldn't say that we're Knicks fans, but it's very unlikely to happen.
Yeah, don't test fate, please. I have to go to the game on Thursday. Don't test fate. I do not need Jeremy Sohan lighting us up for 30. I'm paranoid now.
I'll tell you this. Are you a college basketball guy at all, Terry's?
A little bit for the draft. What's up?
So I'm a UNC fan. I was born in Chapel Hill. My dad went to Carolina. And in the round of 32 this past tournament, Carolina played Baylor. And they were up 30 with like 15 minutes left in the second half. And Jeremy Sohan put on a masterclass of scumbaggery. He basically did everything he could to get every UNC player tossed. And Baylor ended up taking the lead after being down 30 late in the game. And UNC it was basically this same game, like one of the most unimaginable comebacks ever, except UNC found a way to win in overtime after blowing a 30-point lead. I love Jeremy Sohan from like a completely far away. Like, I like his skill set. I think he's a really cool player. I coincidentally just picked him up in my fantasy league. Oh my God. I'm preparing myself to just hate him all over again, watching him play.
You will hate him. As somebody who watches the Spurs, you will hate him. He will not. Right. he will have the most irritating 9 points and 5 assists with like 2 blocks, and you're going to hate his guts. And I'm a Spurs fan, and I hate his guts.
All right, Jordan Bubb, our biggest regular. What's up, Jordan? Tibbs ISO calls, poor late game executions, missed free throws, biased whistle going against the Knicks, and generational player doing generation type things equals painful Knicks loss. Yeah, I mean that's it. Like, it's really hard to get past the fact that like 97% of this game was really good for the Knicks. It's just
my thing is also like they're going to call ISO. Like who like where is the ISO going to come from? You know, like if it wasn't going to come from Julius, it was going to come from Quickly. Quickly was going to take the shot. Like it was going to be either a Quickly ISO or Julius ISO.
I just wish they'd run a little bit more offense. I mean, I know that's not really realistic for the NBA, but like, so late in the Raptors, or which game Tyrese was it when RJ scored 44? Was that Raptors or was it no? Chicago, yeah, duh. Late in the Bulls game, there was like two opposite sides of what was of the plays we were running down the stretch. One was clearly working and one wasn't. RJ ISOs were not working at all, and he failed on those multiple times. It was flashback to 2022 with replacing RJ with Alec Burks, or replacing Alec Burks with RJ, excuse me. It was that bad and that just stagnant of an offense. But then a few times we sent Mitch to screen for him. And the Bulls were so scared of Vucevic ending up on RJ that they blitzed the pick and rolls. But the Knicks did a really smart thing, and they angled the pick and rolls from the corner of the court. And what that did is it allowed Randall or Brunson to be like an exit valve at the top of the key, with the Knicks having an advantage. And the Knicks had a bunch of 4-on-3s. That's good offense. Just run quickly and Mitch pick and roll and try to get some sort of an advantage, you know? Like, I don't know. I just don't think we have to immediately decide, okay, we're not going to do anything, and we're just going to have Randall try to put the ball in the hoop.
I agree. But, like, again, the circumstances of the game were going to happen. And also, like, I do feel like ultimately, like, if you decide, okay, let quickly run the offense, I kind of feel like it ends up with quickly either throwing like a grenade pass, or he's basically dribbling out the ball and then passing it to either Grimes for like a catch and shoot 3, where Grimes was like starting to miss more, or like he's basically trying to make it a shot his own. So like I didn't really see a pathway to good offense in that game, because I don't think there was going to be a pathway to good offense in that game with the circumstances with the roster.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. We'll never know, I guess, but
true. But like, yeah, like I just kind of feel like you're looking at a situation where they're just like, well, we can't do anything else, and it's either going to be Julius or it's going to be IQ, and Grimes is like starting to get fatigued. So
it's just like, it's so funny going through the comments. Like, they're all stuff like, yeah, only stuff like this happens to us, I swear. And it's like, this is just a painful night. And like, I'm glad, I'm glad that y'all are here with us to
like
between
the Giants loss on Saturday.
Oh my God.
The same thing with the Giants too, where like they just lose on 60-yard field goals at the end of regulation. Like there's a stat for that, and the Giants have half of those losses since the merger.
Yeah, it's actually crazier than what you're giving credence to. So in the last like 10 years or something, field goal kickers on game-winning field goals of 60 or more yards are like 5 for 21 overall, but they're 3 for 3 against the Giants.
Like, it's a New York sports curse. It happened. I don't know. I think the New York got cursed when the Correa deal fell through. So we are all suffering.
All right, so. Jordan with another comment that's trying to dissect the game. We really appreciate you, Jordan, because it's really hard. Grimes is him. IQ is a point guard. Yes. Randall, when he plays in the flow, which he did most of the game, he's an all-star, but when he's going into ISO mode, it looks rough. Mitch was a beast. iHeart and Rose together is crying emoji.
I mean, like, it's fair, but also, No, I'm sorry. But like a lot of the flow is really just like random making shit happen. Like I feel like
I don't know,
I feel like
man.
I feel like if you've looked at Randall like last, I want to say since the Hawks game, I think the Hawks game is a good place to put it. Maybe a little bit earlier to the Timberwolves game, but I think the Hawks game was like where he started to like kind of up his usage, do more stuff off the dribble, and like it was working, and it's been working the entire time. So like I can't get mad at it. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of the flow of the offense for Julius lately has been Julius with just insane shot making. Like,
I mean, Quickly had 15 assists and shouldn't have had a turnover. Like, I think you're kind of
true,
selling him short here. He was organizing the offense really, really well.
I agree, but like I do. Like I'm not saying Quickly had a bad passing game or whatever, like 15 assists are fake. No, don't get me wrong. But at the same time though, like I do feel like I think like I don't know. I think it's a weird thing where like he was absolutely able to like uh take advantage of Quickly's gravity as a playmaker, but also I do feel like a lot of that offense was like Rando basically getting to his spot, quickly throwing him the ball, and then Rando making a play off of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to know for sure because there's 0% chance I rewatch this game. I'm not doing that to myself. I
Nope,
apologize to anyone who looks
I'm not.
forward to the throws I
I'm not
make.
touching
I'm
it. I'm not touching
never
it.
doing that. But I've got to be honest, I saw something completely different. I saw him. I mean, I can remember multiple assists to Mitch. I can remember multiple kickouts to Grimes and Deuce in the corners. Did Randall hit a couple threes or shots off of Quickly passes, or did Quickly get a couple assists off of passing to Randall and Randall making something happen? Sure. Maybe 15 assists a little high. But this was an all-world creating level game from Quickly. And this stuff doesn't just happen. Like, I feel like we're really selling that short. Like, Jalen Brunson will play, hopefully, because he's our arguably most important player. He's going to play, 45 more games this season. He's not going to have a 15 assists, 0 turnover game. Like, that's not going to happen, probably. So,
He was close with 13. I think he had 13 and one. I think it was like the Charlotte Hornets game.
he
I can
had
check that.
12 and 5 against Toronto. He had 11 and 1 against Philly. He had 11 and 2 against Charlotte in Charlotte. Those are his three. Oh, he had 10 and 1 against.
Okay, never mind. It was 13 and 3. Never mind.
Oh, there
That's
it is.
right.
Yeah, 13 and 3. Wow, he's had 2 huge assist games against Charlotte. That's cool.
Yeah, he loves Charlotte.
Yeah, who doesn't? Um,
True.
I guess I shouldn't say Brunson's not going to do it. I'm just saying this is a very rare thing, and like, I think the point you're making has more credence in the second half than the first. I think if you had it in you and you went and rewatched the first half, you'd be like, okay, yeah, Quickly was like dissecting them. Like that was him like putting on a show, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I'm like looking at them now, and like he definitely has a couple passes where like he's just manipulating the defense, getting 3 guys in rotation, and like some of them were just like, okay, swing past the Rando who just like stood out on the wing, and like I'm not taking that away from him, like assist or assist, and like it was still a fantastic playmaking game, probably arguably one of the best playmaking games of the season, probably top three, but like yeah, like Quickly had a really good game, but the flow of the offense is really just like Julius using his gravity in order to create lanes for everybody and quickly benefiting from that with his playmaking, but also like with Julius' gravity. Like I think a lot of the time we have to realize like Randall is the flow of the offense.
Yeah. I completely agree with you there. Randall was by far the most important player tonight, so can't disagree with you there. Both Samuel and Vivek said similar things. Samuel said, well, part of the late game execution is due to guys being gassed. And then Vivek said, I think the free throw shooting has to do with guys being gassed. Again, like, yeah, that's fine. But these guys are, professional athletes making millions of dollars to make a free throw or catch a rebound. I think you just got to do it. I don't know. Maybe that's being too hard on the players, but what do you think, Tyrese?
Yeah, like I just you telling me like, but Luka was gassed and he was doing it down the stretch, and like everybody in that game was gassed. To be fair, like everybody in that game was gassed. again, if we look at the minutes distribution, like Luka played 47, Dinwiddie played 43, Tim Hardaway played 42, Christian Wood played 40. So like everybody is gassed. I get it that like they played like a few more minutes, but like is 2 or 3 minutes going to be the difference maker between missing free throws and making free throws? No. Like everybody's gassed, and the Mavs were able to execute, and the Knicks weren't. You could say it's cumulative, but at the same time, like this has been a problem. It's been a problem for a while, and like they were doing it beforehand because like they didn't play a lot of close games during the winning streak. Like that winning streak, they blew out 5 out of 8 teams, so they weren't playing close games. So,
and like this just goes to what you were saying earlier, but like there are things where we look at the Knicks and it's like, yeah, this is a real late game problem that they have struggles with. I can't say that Grimes and Deuce not being able to catch a rebound is like some sustainable late game problem. Like that's just a fluke.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what are you supposed to say? Oh, well, like, Tibbs needs to coach them to catch rebounds. Like he can't wipe the sweat off their hands.
Yeah. So I saw somebody say that Grimes should have boxed Luka out so that first of all, Deuce would have been alone for the rebound, and then if he bobbled it, he would have been there. But it's like
nobody's thinking about that in the moment. Nobody's thinking about that in the moment. Like,
right?
You're just trying to get the rebound. So like,
just catch the ball.
Yeah, that's really it. Like I feel like it's a roundabout way of saying they should have caught the ball.
Yep.
So.
Hawkeye is really going off on their free throws. That's a good question.
They were 80% before like this recent stretch.
Yeah, I feel like they've been good this season, but
and for the season they're probably gonna be around 77%, which is like I want to say middle of the pack, maybe.
Yeah,
I can check that.
Yeah, you check it. Jordan offered one more with. There are still reasons for why the Fire Tibbs crowd is still justified because of games like Bulls and Mavs, his rotation, substitution pattern, and poor in-game coaching decisions. Yeah,
Okay, they're 13th.
Okay, that's fine.
They're fine. Like
they were really bad last season, right?
Yeah, I think they were towards the lower echelon. I can check because like RJ was bad, Randall was struggling. I can check that, but yeah. Last year they were 26th at 74%.
Yeah,
and the year before that they were 13th at 70.6%.
All right. Yeah, Jordan. I mean, I think the Knicks are probably better off long term if they get rid of Tibbs, but I just don't think this is the night to talk about it. Like, I don't think. I think if I was a pro Tibbs guy, I would have a pretty good argument on my hands because in spite of the crazy minutes the guy's played, he had a game plan on both sides of the ball that got them a 9-point lead against Luka Doncic, putting on a masterclass performance. 9-point lead with 30 seconds left. They were up 2 with 5 seconds left and a rebound in their hands. Like we can talk about Tibbs some other time if we really want to. Trust us, we will on this sometime. There will be a time when we talk about Tibbs here, but I just don't think this game is on him.
Yeah, it's hard for me to look at missed rebounds, missed free throws, and Luka Magic and go, yeah, Tibbs is the problem or Randall's the problem. It's just like, I've seen that too where people are like, oh, Randall was the problem. It's like, dude, Randall Randall put us up with the lead, up 9. Like, he did his job. So, I don't know. This is just a game where, like, people are going to be mad, and that's to be expected. And people are just looking for answers and to point blame instead of actually looking for, like, analysis. So, like, analysis isn't going to really help people tonight. It's just more of like a venting session, which I get. So.
And that's totally
fine.
like that's a very human response, is to look for like someone to blame or something to be mad at. It's almost too rational to just be like, well, like to try and find the victories from a game like this. This is just such a devastating game. I get it. I just it's just really hard to. This was just there was nothing. There's no one to blame. This was such a stupid game. It was such, I keep seeing people call it fake. And yeah, the next comment, here we go. Like Grimes smoked layup early in the fourth, might have been. I think it was early in overtime, but
No, it was the fourth.
It was
where he misses the three and then he gets the rebound and he puts it up and he smokes the layup.
Yeah, that wasn't in overtime. That was in the fourth.
It was in the fourth.
Okay, yeah. That sums up this game, and I feel like that's a good place to call it for the night.
Yeah.
This it's really hard to talk about this game outside of the fact that it was just nonsense. Like the Knicks played really well. The Mavericks played a good game too. This was two pretty good teams, both getting good execution on both sides of the court. I mean, let's not sell the Mavericks short, especially when Luka's playing like this. Like there were a ton of possessions when the Knicks had great ball movement, and the Mavericks were the ones making really nice rotations. Jason Kidd knows how to coach a defense, and when you have Luka on offense, it doesn't really matter what you can do on offense because he's going to dissect you in his own way. This was two good teams executing at a pretty good level, and the Knicks probably won the shot quality expectation by 10 plus points. Like, it is extremely stupid we lost this game. That's really all there is to say.
Yeah. It's kind of a matter of just like they shouldn't have lost this game, and they did. It sucks. Win when I'm watching. Thanks.
And the thing is that when I do the post-game threads for the Strickland account, I'm such a macro thinker. I always look for things that are like sustainable, So like if RJ hits some like crazy, always in his bag fadeaway 2-shot, if I clip it because it's just so cool that I have to clip it, I make sure to point out like, okay, like this doesn't really matter unless we see more of it. Nothing that happened tonight that cost the Knicks the game matters long term because it's all so ridiculous. Like this was just the dumbest game. I don't know how many different ways I can say it.
Yeah, like I think Julius played a very efficient game within himself. I feel like Grimes had a really good shooting game, and you can say, well, 7 threes, like he's hit 7 threes beforehand. Like that's just a hot shooter being hot. Quickly, really good passing instincts, really good feel. McBride with the defense. Mitch had 20 and 16. Like that's a Mitch game. 7 offensive rebounds. That's what he does. Like nothing felt unsustainable. Nothing felt like it was a problem. They just lost. They fumbled it, and they lost.
And like, I guess, do you believe in? Do you think there will be fallout? Where do you stand on that?
Nah, like what's the fallout going to be? Like Brunson probably plays. They probably beat the Spurs, which is good for me again, and then they probably beat the Rockets.
I mean, the fallout is that they're just so mentally fucked from now 2 of these games in a row.
I don't see it. Like I don't see it. I think they'll be okay. Like I think the one thing this team has had is like a really solid mental. They like you heard like the same like the quarterback mentality. Like I feel like this team is kind of just like, you know what? We lost. They showed that they could do that. And they've all played hard. So like I think you can admit yourself that, like a couple more games and you feel better about yourself and everything. But yeah, I don't think there'll be a lot of fallout. I think they'll be okay.
It's just crazy because they're now 18 and 17, right?
Yeah.
So
like if there wasn't fallout after that game in OKC, after that OKC game, after the Mavericks game, before they went on the win streak, I don't think there'll be fallout now because like they had to stretch like that against like the Bucks and the Mavs and like the Atlanta game earlier in the season where they were up 20 and they lost. So they've had a lot of gut check moments and they've been able to deliver. So I'm not too worried about it.
I hope you're right, man, because they were sitting 4 games above 500, and they shouldn't have lost all 3 of these games.
Yeah, I agree.
Or all 4 of these games, excuse me. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna say they should have beat Philly, but at the same time, they put themselves in a spot where they could have beat them. And now they've lost 4 games in a row, and I don't know. I think we're gonna hear some stuff that you were talking about earlier if they lose to San Antonio. I think we're gonna hear about trades.
I mean, you saw the Tobias Harris news came out, which was weird. Maybe something like that happens. I don't know. I really don't know.
Hawkeye said, last time we got embarrassed by Dallas, we won 8 straight. So
yeah,
I like that outlook. I think that's a great outlook, and I'm going to choose to. That's what I'm going to choose to believe. We do. I don't know if you've looked, Tyrese, but our schedule, our next 20 games coming up, the Knicks are legitimately going to be favored in
half of
13 of them. I mean,
I think half.
Man, I feel like their schedule coming up is really, really gettable.
Okay, I like them against the Spurs for obvious reasons. I'm watching the game. I like them against the Rockets. The Suns, if Devin Booker doesn't play.
They'll be betting favorites against Phoenix at home if Booker's out.
Yes, and then the Spurs, again, at home. Raptors on the road. Bucks at home. Pacers, Wizards, Pistons. That's a really good stretch right there. That's a very good stretch. And then you have the Raptors, Wizards. Again, at home. Hawks, Knicks. That's a toss-up. That's
all the way through January 18th, I'll say. So how many games is that? Because that 5-game stretch after Washington is really tough.
Yeah. But they can still probably go 2 and 3 on that stretch.
Yeah, they can. I agree. They can. But 4 out of 5 road games at Atlanta, at Toronto, and then Cleveland at home, and then at Boston, at Brooklyn, that's tough.
Yeah.
So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's an 11-game stretch, and in my opinion, they're going to be favored in 9 of those games. I mean, they've got to go 7 and 4. They've got to go at least 7 and 4 during that stretch.
Yeah, but I think they have the ability to. So
yeah. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it. All right, Hawkeye with one more. I swear we're gonna end it here though. We're gonna. I'm gonna let Tyrese handle this one because he knows the Spurs better than me. What do you think of this matchup?
I think the Spurs can't shoot the ball, and I think the Spurs are talented, but Keldon Johnson needs to have a game, and Keldon Johnson has had a game in months. And you're asking Devin Vassell to carry you. I don't think that's a really sustainable way of building a team. I think they have they don't really have the length as much as they have guys who may be able to pop off. I can see Josh Richardson having 4 threes, and I can see I don't know if you've if Doug McDermott plays, I don't know, he could have 5 threes or whatever. They can get hot from 3, but you're gonna be acting like Devin Vassell to essentially carry you, and I don't think that's gonna happen. Especially if Grimes is defending him, I don't think Devin Vassell's gonna be able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a game we should win. That's definitely for sure. But like Samuel says, who's gonna have the career game now? That is legitimately how we have to start thinking, because it's every night. Siakam and Luka both put up 50. I don't know.
It'll be Sohan. It'll be Sohan. I'm just gonna say now, it will be Sohan.
It's like you're mentally preparing yourself to be really mad.
I'm going to be very mad. I'm going to be heckling. And he's still going to go. He's going to drop to 25, dude. And I know it's happening. I know it's going to happen, but I'm preparing myself for them to win regardless. But I just feel like in my soul, Jeremy Sohan is going to see the Knicks colors. He might dye his hair the same color, and then he's just going to absolutely toast us. But then they win the game, so whatever.
All right. Well, we'll be here. Me and Sam will be here. Tyrese will be at the game supporting us. JL says that Josh Richardson's going to be the one to crush us.
Yeah, I can see that too. And then we trade for him. We trade for him midway through, so that way he stops crushing it. I can see that happening.
Oh my God.
The good old the Harrison Barnes.
I just want to say, like, I mean, if you're watching this, just try to stay positive. I mean, it sucks. That's such a hard thing to do, but
also there's more to life than basketball.
Yeah, this was never supposed to be the season, and quickly played 51 minutes and had one of the best distributing games we've seen. Deuce, we want to see him make more shots, but we saw 40 plus minutes from Deuce, and he was able to hold his own defensively and, help create good shots. Mitch continues to beast. Randall continues to look like all-star good Randall from a process standpoint. Grimes scored a career high points. And he wasn't just making threes. He was getting to the basket. He was attacking closeouts. I mean, this was, God, if we just won this, we would have just been so jubilant. We would be able to talk about all these things in such a different light. So just remember that. Just remember that, none of these things are not true because Grimes didn't catch a rebound. All of these things that we would have talked about if Grimes caught a rebound are still true. It's a loss on the scoreboard in the standings. And yeah, that sucks, but it's going to be okay. We're going to be all right going forward.
Yeah. Just stay warm, hopefully. Do something fun tomorrow. I'm going to Six Flags. I need some kind of break.
So yeah.
How can you, man, must be nice to be in Texas.
It's great this time of year. We had two cold days, and now we're back to 60s. It's great.
Dude, me and Sam were dying laughing when you couldn't get on that one post game because of a cold front. We were just like, dude, fuck off, man.
No, literally, there's a freeze. There's a literal freeze, and there's a freeze warning, and it's my first time having a freeze warning. And they were like, drip your pipes and prepare for the fact that you might not have power. And I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
We don't have any snow plows. What? Texas is a weird spot, but legitimately, I was like, I might not be able to do anything if my power's out. So I just took the precaution. I was fine, but I've never been in one before, so I was like, okay, let me just make sure that I'm not midway through, I end up not being able to or a pipe burst or whatever. But yeah.
All right, we're gonna call it. Thanks again to everyone who tuned in. This is just, the fact that there were so many comments and on such a miserable game, that's so cool. Wouldn't be possible without any of you. If you check the description, there's links to everything. If you like what we do, maybe get I always rock this sweatshirt. It's my favorite thing that I wear. I love it. We have tons of good stuff like that, tons of good merchandise. We have a Patreon if you want to be a part of a Discord with us and chat more with, Schwinn is always in there. Everyone's always in there yapping it up, talking Knicks, talking Sopranos, talking other stuff. None of this would be possible without you, so we appreciate y'all and hope you have a great night. Peace.